Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Hope y'all are doing well. And today we've got some just crazy orc action to show y'all. And just big shout out to Hirko Kiergins, Kierkegans. They're a player that in the Discord had posted a really cool list, very similar to this. Not gonna lie, I saw the key card being the Green Horde, and in my collection I was like, oh, I had both of those. And I wasn't playing any copies in my orc decks because I was like, is this actually good? Like, do I want to go for this kind of strategy? And I tried it out just a little bit before the video, and I don't know if it's the most competitive build, but it certainly went crazy on turn 5 and 6 in some of the games, where you basically closed out the game if your opponent didn't have a way to answer every one of your creatures. And it just seemed really cool. It's like a different play style from my kind of like aggro Ultramarines build for the mid-range sort of Chaos Marines Black Legion build, to just a really wild, like almost kind of like stormy combo feel where you just kind of dump your hand and set it up. So we've got a really, really fun orc build for you. And if you have not tried this and you're an orc player, or you're just looking to get into orcs and you've got some of these cards, I think it's worth trying. And I actually think, especially with this Warlord, which I believe this is the one that everyone starts out with. I did get the Flying Warlord, which I tried with this build too, and I thought it was fine. I don't know that it really synergizes as well, so we switched back to Gruck here, the Face Rippa. Let me just kind of walk you through it, and as always, appreciate your likes, comments, and subscribes. Let me know what you think in the comments of the builds, of the game, your impressions, whatever, as we are really humming along in this alpha. We're getting more and more people. We'll have people getting keys through streams, so check out Warpforge on Twitch. And also just keep checking in the Discord if you haven't done that already. Yeah, we've got some people that are really cooking up some really cool stuff, and I just kind of did my iteration of it with the cards that I have and just trying different things, and so far it's been a ton of fun. And as a Space Marines player, always respect the Orks with their wild, frenzied style and their shouting and making music and all that cool stuff. They were always had a place in my heart. Also, as someone who loves Lord of the Rings, you gotta respect the Orks, right? Like they got a lot of stuff going for them. So let me just go to my collection real quick so we can actually look at the Warlord. Again, I'm going to scroll, so just feel free to look away, and I'll let you know when we get there. Okay, so just out of curiosity, so Boz Zogstruck I tried with the deck. I think it's totally fine. I think it's probably not the right fit for him, but he was like the only Warlord I've opened, I think. Yeah, that was different than the starting one. So I of course I had to try him. And he's cool. I do like his ability. It kind of reminds me of Harken a little bit. It's like an aggressive ability. And essentially what it does is it allows you to attack your opponent for 3 damage, but you just take 1 back because you get 1 armor. And honestly, feels pretty nice if you're going for like a much more aggressive strategy, which I don't think is quite what we're doing. So that's why we are playing Grok the Face Rippa. So what does he do? You're going to see why this synergizes, right? So it's draw a troop from your deck, give it +1 attack. Okay, well, what is the strategy of this deck, you might ask? And the strategy is the Green Horde. I should change the name of the deck, actually. So what does this card do? 3 energy, your troops cost 2 less this turn, right? Why do we care? Let's talk about that. So, Grot, very, very weak looking card, right? It's a 1/1 that has 2 health for 1 energy. And for those of you who don't remember what Tide does, here's what it does. When this card is played from your hand, you may play again up to X times. So what this says is you play the first copy, you get a second copy, and then you get a third copy. So obviously, if you pair any Tide card that is 1 energy, 2 energy with the Green Horde, they're just free. And it applies to the Tide copies as well. That is where some of the power comes from, right? Because if it was just applying to the first copy, obviously that would suck. But because it says 2 less this whole turn, that means anything that's going on that turn is going to get discounted, right, for your troops. So grots, I think, are just like totally serviceable. When you draw them with your Warlord ability, it gives it +1 attack. So, and Tide copies this as well. So when you rip this out of your deck with your Warlord ability, you get 3 2/1s for 0 mana when you, or 0 energy. Someday I'll get there. With the Green Horde. So that this is your game plan, and you'll see how all the cards synergize. So that's how grots work. Snot Joyrider. Sorry, I can't even say this seriously. Snot Joyrider. I mean, just, you can't really get a better name than that. I think it's fine as like just like a 1 of 3 damage to a random enemy. Sometimes it hits their Warlord, whatever. Sometimes it gets a unit you care about. I think it's, I don't have a ton of Ork cards, so I'm kind of running this. Maybe I'll replace it at some point, but I think it's totally fine as like a little 1 of Artis Nails, with their old Cockney accent here, of course. I appreciate that. Give +2 health to your units. Obviously, that's really synergistic with stuff like grots because their health is very low. So being able to, I think most of the time, go off on turn 5. So you go to Green Horde, you play all your free 1s and 2s with Tide, and then you have 2 energy left over, and you're able to use Artis Nails to keep everything healthy so that they get to fully attack the next turn. So I think 2 copies makes a lot of sense. Bomb Squig, I'd probably play more of this card if I had it. What it allows you to do before turn 5 or turn 3 or turn 4 is just make their board develop slower. Pretty much how this plays, you're going to play it after they've played a unit. They're going to kill it for free with the ranged attack or whatever, and then it's going to backlash, dealing damage to your Warlord and their units and their Warlord. So Bomb Squig can be honestly pretty annoying for your opponent to deal with. And if I had 2 of it, I'd be playing it, but sadly I don't. Slugger Boy, also only have 1 of this card. Really, really sad, because obviously this is good. It's a 2/2 with 3 health, which is very relevant, so it's usually going to survive some sort of Warlord attack for the most part, and it's Tide 1, right? So I just get to have 2 2/2s for 1 card for free when I play to Green Horde. So Slugger Boy, I definitely want more of as soon as I can. So that's pretty clear. Storm Boy, just really aggressively statted, right? 3 attack, 3 health, 2 energy. It's got flying, so it's a little annoying to deal with in some senses, although its ranged attack is like nothing. Again, this is going to be free with the Green Horde. Are you sensing a theme? It's probably jam as many 2-drops in the deck as possible. So that's why we've got the Storm Boys. And then Truck Boys, nothing to really write home about. It's rarely going to get this Vanguard, although we do have a couple vehicles in the deck that we're running just kind of as filler. I probably would replace them at some point, but just totally serviceable. Any 2-drop is usually going to make do. Any 2-drop unit, I should say. And then to Green Horde, of course, the center of the deck. And then we've got Hornhelm's Boys. I'm truly just playing this card because it's got Tide 2. It's aggressively statted, and I don't have that many Tide cards. So if I play to Green Horde on turn 4 or 5 or 6, I'm still going to get some value out of having Hornhelm's Boys in my hand. And it just has really high attack, so if we rip it out of our deck with our Warlord's ability, it's going to come in with 5 power, pretty hefty for 3 energy, or when you do Green Horde, it's only going to be 1 energy, so not terrible. And then, oh boy, Shoot a Boy. So again, this will cost 1 energy when you use the Green Horde. That's probably why you're going to play the Green Horde on turns 4, 5, or 6. Shoot a Boy does so much work. So it's got 4 health. It's probably not going to die. And it just says whenever mob, I don't know if I explained this keyword, so sorry for that. It happens after a friendly unit does a melee attack, specifically melee. So you do have to kind of track that. It just deals 1 damage to a random enemy. So basically what your board's going to look like, and hopefully we can get some good games even against the bots after we go through the deck. You just get like 1,000,000 free damage off of your melee attacks the following turn. So I think you would 100% play 2 copies of Shoot a Boy. once I have them. I've only got one right now, so got to work with our tight budget here. Tide of Muscle, you just want to rip those troops out of your deck, right? You want to hit your 2-drops to be able to do green horde for like the most value possible. And obviously, of course, it's getting +1 melee attack, just like what our Warlord ability does. So that's pretty nice. Warbiker, I'm just playing this because it's either it's like a sort of like a lava axe, if you will, for you Magic players out there. It comes down, it can deal 4 damage to their Warlord if this is the only unit in play. Or you just use it kind of like the, the Cursed Marines or whatever in Chaos that just come down and flank and kill a unit. This is strictly better because you can actually attack the Warlord in the face for it. So I think Warbiker is totally fine. I probably will replace it at some point. Banner Knob, if I had 2, I would be playing it. It's pretty obvious why. Adjacent units get +1 melee and +1 ranged. This deck is truly going the widest possible, other than, I guess, like the Scarab deck from the Necrons. And the Necrons is the last deck I have to kind of start accumulating cards for. Hoping I can have that for you guys in the next week or so if I do some grinding. But Banner Knob, also very aggressively statted, right? If you're able to get that attack through. And +1 melee and ranged on all of your other cheaper units is obviously going to be very, very good. Grout Tank, probably not a great card, nothing to write home about. But it's just a totally serviceable 4-drop. It's got armor, makes it a little more difficult to deal with. And it's got really high range stat, which is pretty good if you need that. It does have unstable, so when it dies, it deals 0 to 3 damage to adjacent units, so you just want to make sure you're positioning correctly. To be honest, with the play patterns with this deck, you're going to use your Warlord ability probably turn 1, turn 2, and then like playing this kind of unit before we're going Degreen Horde. I want to say Degreen Monster, because it makes me think about the Green Monster in Boston. I might have to name the deck the Green Monster. Okay, just had that realization. So I think Grout Tank is just kind of like a meat. It's like if it soaks up some pressure, it's like totally fine. But definitely not a great card. No mucking about. You definitely need some unconditional removal in this. You want to be able to deal with like pesky Vanguard units or something that's going to take a while to whittle down. So I think no mucking about, destroy random enemy troop. Just very, very important. Starboy Knob, probably don't need to play this. It does have Mob where it gets bigger and bigger as you're attacking, so that is kind of nice, but it's just like, it costs 4 energy. It's not super well statted, so I don't love the card, but I think it's better than whatever else I have. And then we have Unbridled Carnage. Love the art. It's just like super sweet. Deal 2 damage to a random enemy. Repeat this effect for every friendly troop. Now, you can have 5 troops on each side. This does include your Warlord. So, kind of crazy. Gonna do a lot of random damage to your opponent's units and Warlords. So, obviously, Unbridled Courage, very synergistic. And then we've just got 2 filler cards because I gotta put some other stuff in here. Big Krampus, I figure the 3 damage to a random enemy when it comes into play is totally fine. Might kill something small, might do direct damage to the enemy Warlord, and I think that's like totally fine. And then Get 'em Lads. Oddly enough, I only have one of this card, and it's a common. Give +2 melee attack to your units this turn. Obviously very good when you're going wide, right? So 1 turn, you set up your maybe health, and you grab a bunch of units, you play Degreen Horde, and then the next turn, Get 'em Lads. Get those lads in there, send in the clowns, aka the Orks, and just hit your opponent for like 20. So that's the deck. Obviously needs a lot of tweaking. A lot of cards that we don't have, but honestly, it's been really fun to play. So let's play it. Ooh, all right. Get to see the other Chaos Warlord, which is kind of fun. These are okay. I think I'll just keep the boy in here, because it's just a fine unit. Cool. All right, nice. We've got some units to work with here when we hit our Degreen Horde. Yeah, Sylar. He's got some cool stuff. I mean, he just has like a lot of versatility, which I think is pretty sweet. So I'm really hoping to play him once I'm able to get him. All right, let's thin our deck. That'll help. Especially as long as they have no board presence, we're just like under no pressure. Here, though, it's pretty cost efficient to play Shooter Boy. Probably just gonna do that. We also get a free damage here. Nice. Let's see what they choose here. Vanguard. Okay. And health. That makes a little more sense. Alright. Got no mucking about, huh? Probably just need to trade this, unfortunately. But we'll get our... I mean, I could no mucking about, but this is going to die regardless. There's nothing we can do. So let's Red Wa. Draw something. Here, I guess I'll just play Storm Boy. There's not a whole reason not to. Just trade these. Oh, right, he doesn't die because of the 1 health. Totally forgot. Or the 1 attack. Alright, so we get a little bit of value. Okay. That's very fine. It's gonna die anyway. So, no problem. Honestly, probably just run out big Krumpas. This thing is going to hit really hard. Going to get 3 damage on that Warlord anyway. Then another 3. Yeah. So here we're not really comboing so much, but we're just playing some... Yeah, and now they're pretty behind because I'm just going to no mucking about. And it's going to be pretty rough, and then we can... Yeah, sure. Draw another unit, no mucking about. Hit you for kind of 1 million. Yeah. Oh, we actually had lethal if 1 proc went here. Ooh, what is this? Dark Apostle. I don't think I've seen this card. 6 energy, 7 health. Oh, it's a legendary. That's why. Give a random mark of chaos to each friendly troop. I mean, it's not that crazy in chaos just because you're not like putting a bunch of things on the board, but obviously this is really strong. Jesus. That's cool. I like that I got to see a card I haven't really seen before. Alright, not much of a combo, just obviously able to get there pretty aggressively. Nice. Getting the mirror match here. Wonder if they have De Green Horde. Pretty good. I mean, we've got some decent cards to start with. I think I do want to try and mulligan to hit De Green Horde, though. So let's just see what we can hit. Let's get some action, boys. That's kind of what I'm saying, actually. Let's get some De Green Monster going. Okay, well, we hit our Get 'em Lads. Let's just get more stuff out of our deck. I'm not going to speed up the clock here. I will probably just generally want more time because we're kind of combo deck. Ooh, Spanner's cool. I do like him for vehicle decks. I haven't really gotten to get that together yet. I think here I probably just want a Warbiker to kill that, take it off the board. Just trade with that. Pass the turn. Got some good stuff here for when we get our green monster. It's a great voice line. The Grot Tank. Alright, now we probably have to start playing some stuff out, obviously. Banner Knob is going to die to this, so I don't love that. Storm Boys also gets just absolutely obliterated. Could also just play out 3 Grots this turn. I don't hate that. I think I'd actually rather do that. Still getting some decent value here. fine. Also potentially get him lads this turn if we want to. Okay. But it's probably going to be Banner Knob, because then it just buffs them. Here we got the Bomb Squig. So this is going to deal 6. Yeah. Just trade my 2 Grots for their tank. I feel like that's reasonable. Oh, actually doesn't trade, does it? Okay, well, don't love having to trade all that to kill it, but it does do some damage back. And then Correction Tower, it's not going to buff them all, but oh, it's actually not going to buff them at all because it spawned them on this side. That's unfortunate. Kill a can. Yeah. Pretty annoying. Okay, Art as Nails. Also have Unbridled Courage here. So we could just go Bomb Squig. And then Courage? Is that the play? Like, giving health doesn't really do anything. Get 'em lads doesn't do a whole lot. Although, I can just attack it for 5 and kill it. Doesn't develop the board, though. Alright, let's try this. Okay, that is acceptable. Very nice. Definitely get my attack in there. This thing's not bad. Do a 1 to 3 damage to a random enemy. Alright, there's our Degreen Horde, finally. So, we've got 7 mana to work with. So we can rip something out of our deck, Degreen Horde, and then Art as Nails, probably. So let's hope we hit a 2-drop here. Oh, let me hit the best 2-drop. Let's go. Degreen Monster. Yeah, where do I want to put... Okay, I guess this is fine. And then we can play Shooter Boy on our turn and get the value. So we healed you. We get to attack again. Sweet. Oh, that's actually pretty scary. Double Death Dread, huh? Okay. Whew. Almost died there. Jeez. Alright, and just for funsies, play our shooter. Get 'em, lads. Boom. Boom. Gotta kill him in style. Boom. Very nice. Okay. So, obviously you can see kind of how the deck works. I mean, clearly you don't have to just sit and try and get your combo, right? Because you usually can't afford to do that. Like, if your opponent's not obviously making you need to answer the board, you're doing fine. You're just kind of chilling. I do want to open a pack, and maybe we'll try and do that in the videos. If you guys like that, let me know. Because that way you get to see more of the cards and just how the packs work. I think if I were to edit this, I think honestly what I would do is just take out like Big Krampus. God, these names are just excellent. And I'm just going to put in double attack Squig. I think like this just makes the deck a lot more consistent, and I just hate these terrible 4-drops anyway. So I think we just leave it at that. All right, let's open up a good old pack of the deck we just played. See what we hit. Maybe we'll hit something spicy. Still definitely growing my collection so far. But okay, Stampa, we got that. Gorknot, we got that. Warbiker. Okay, Burna Boy. Cool. I actually played with that in a draft. He's kind of cool. So if you control either a Spanner or a Mech Boy Gazmech, and Spanner we actually saw in one of the games, this guy. Or this guy, this guy seems pretty nuts. Lower the cost of a random vehicle in your hand by 1. That's its mob ability. So there's definitely a very high synergy vehicle deck. And Burna Boy seems pretty good, right? So if you control one of those, deal 2 to 3 damage to all enemies. 4 health, 4 energy, 5 ranged attack. Pretty solid. All right. Well, we only opened Burna Boy as the most noteworthy card, but still kind of cool. And then we have all these other big sort of vehicles. Obviously, you can see that that's a pretty big theme with the Orks. Obviously, with the drawback, unstable is a pretty I shouldn't say big drawback because it's only 0 to 3 damage to adjacent units, and you can like position your units appropriately. But obviously, it is a cost, and I would not recommend putting these sorts of things in your deck. So that's really all I got for you folks today. I hope it was cool to kind of see like a different style of a deck. It's like not really aggro, it's not really mid-range, it's kind of like really trying to pull a lot of synergies together. We definitely don't have all the cards for it, but it was super fun. And I'm so glad that players are like posting deck lists, and like I'm super excited for this game to continue progressing, and it really feels like the developers are it's just humming along. They're pushing it along. They're adding cool features. They're patching stuff, updating stuff. So that's what I got for you today, folks. And I will definitely catch you next time. So take it easy.